On April 14, 2025, at 10:08 in the morning local time, a magnitude 5.2 earthquake struck Southern California. The sudden jolt was felt across a wide area, causing buildings to sway and people to rush out into the streets in alarm. The epicenter was located approximately 3 miles south of the small mountain town of Julian, in San Diego County. This picturesque town, known for its apple pies and historic charm, found itself at the heart of a seismic event. This quake, originating 8.9 miles beneath the surface, served as a stark reminder of California's position along the Pacific Ring of Fire. The region's complex network of fault lines makes it particularly susceptible to such natural events. This region is known for its high seismic activity. Geologists have long studied the area's fault lines, trying to predict when and where the next big quake might occur. The quake's tremors rippled outwards, reaching far beyond Julian. Residents in cities as far as Los Angeles and San Diego reported feeling the ground shake. It was a wake-up call for millions residing in Southern California. Many were reminded of the importance of earthquake preparedness, and the need to have emergency plans in place. The event left many wondering about the potential for a larger, more destructive earthquake in the region's future. Community leaders and officials emphasized the importance of readiness and resilience. The earthquake, while considered moderate in size, was a significant seismic event for Southern California. It caused minor damage to infrastructure, including cracked roads and buildings, and disrupted daily life for many. Its location near the Elsinore Fault raised concerns about the potential for future, more powerful quakes along this major fault line. Scientists continue to monitor the area closely, aware that this event could be a precursor to something larger. The earthquake's impact was felt across a wide swath of Southern California, affecting both urban and rural areas alike. From the bustling city streets to the serene countryside, the tremors were a stark reminder of nature's unpredictable power. Residents in Julian, closest to the epicenter, experienced the most intense shaking. The small town was suddenly thrust into chaos as buildings swayed and the ground beneath them trembled violently. Reports described a sudden jolt and rolling motion that lasted for several seconds. People were caught off guard, with many rushing outside to seek safety. Further away from the epicenter, the shaking lessened in intensity. Suburban areas and small towns felt the tremors, but the impact was not as severe, allowing residents to quickly regain their composure. In downtown San Diego, approximately 35 miles southwest of Julian, the shaking was moderate. Office workers and residents alike felt the ground move beneath them, causing a brief moment of panic. Residents described feeling a swaying sensation and seeing objects rattle on shelves. The gentle but noticeable movement was enough to make people pause and take notice. The tremors even reached as far north as Los Angeles, over 120 miles from the epicenter. The sprawling city felt the quake's distant touch, with light shaking reported across various neighborhoods. Angelenos experienced light shaking, with some reporting a gentle swaying motion that was more perceptible on upper floors of buildings. Conversations buzzed with talk of the quake as people shared their experiences. Despite the widespread shaking, there were no reports of major damage or injuries. The region was fortunate to escape with only minor incidents, a testament to the resilience of its infrastructure. The earthquake caused minor incidents such as toppled bottles, shattered wine glasses, and fallen pottery. These small disruptions served as a reminder of the quake's reach. A rock slide was reported on Highway 76 near Julian, temporarily disrupting traffic. Emergency crews were quick to respond, ensuring that the road was cleared and safe for travel once again. The earthquake occurred near the Elsinore Fault, a significant fault line that runs roughly parallel to the San Andreas Fault. The Elsinore Fault is a part of the complex system of faults that marks the boundary between the Pacific and North American tectonic plates. The Elsinore Fault is capable of producing major earthquakes. Scientists estimate that the fault has the potential to generate quakes up to magnitude 7.5. A rupture along the northern segment of the Elsinore Fault could have devastating consequences for the Los Angeles metropolitan area. The recent earthquake serves as a reminder of the seismic hazard posed by the Elsinore Fault. While not as well known as the San Andreas, the Elsinore Fault is a significant seismic player in Southern California, and its activity warrants close monitoring and preparedness efforts. Following the initial earthquake, a series of aftershocks rattled the region, causing widespread concern among residents and scientists alike. The ground seemed to be in a constant state of motion, unsettling those who experienced it firsthand. Within 30 minutes of the main shock, 8 aftershocks were recorded, ranging in magnitude from 2.5 to 3.5. These aftershocks, though smaller, were significant enough to be felt and added to the anxiety of the affected communities. The largest aftershock, measuring 3.9, occurred near Borrego Springs, California. This aftershock was particularly notable because it was strong enough to cause minor structural damage and was felt over a wide area. Interestingly, the earthquake was preceded by a foreshock the day before. This foreshock was a subtle warning that something larger was on the horizon, though it went largely unnoticed at the time. On April 13, 2025, at approximately 4 in the afternoon, a magnitude 3.5 earthquake struck near Julian, serving as a precursor to the larger event that followed. This initial quake was a harbinger of the seismic activity that would soon escalate. Seismologists warn that aftershocks can continue for days, weeks, or even months after a significant earthquake. The ongoing tremors can complicate recovery efforts and keep communities on edge. While most aftershocks are smaller than the main shock, there is always a possibility of a larger aftershock occurring. This potential for a more powerful aftershock keeps both residents and scientists vigilant. The probability of a magnitude 5.0 or greater aftershock within a week of the main shock was estimated at 7%, a significant risk that cannot be ignored. This statistic underscores the importance of preparedness and awareness in earthquake-prone regions. Section 5. Early warnings and public safety measures. The earthquake provided a real-world test for Shake Alert, the early warning system designed to provide advance notice of earthquakes. Shake Alert, which uses a network of seismic sensors to detect earthquakes and issue alerts, successfully provided warnings to residents in San Diego, approximately 14 seconds before the shaking arrived. While 14 seconds may not seem like much time, it can be crucial in allowing people to take protective actions, such as dropping, covering, and holding on. Early warnings can also trigger automated safety measures, such as slowing down trains and stopping elevators at the nearest floor. In response to the earthquake, public safety officials took swift action. The California Department of Transportation, or Caltrans, issued warnings about the potential for rock slides in mountainous areas. The Los Angeles Fire Department and other agencies conducted inspections to assess any damage and ensure public safety. Section 6. Voices from the quake zone. The earthquake left a lasting impression on residents who experienced its power firsthand. In Julian, where the shaking was most intense, residents described a sense of fear and uncertainty in the immediate aftermath of the quake. It was a sudden jolt, and then it felt like the whole house was swaying back and forth, said Sarah Miller, a Julian resident. I was so scared, I didn't know what to do. Despite the initial fear, many residents expressed relief that the earthquake did not cause more significant damage. We were lucky this time, said John Rodriguez, another Julian resident. It could have been a lot worse. Section 7. Echoes of California's seismic past. The earthquake served as a reminder of California's long and active seismic history. The state has experienced numerous significant earthquakes over the past century, some with devastating consequences. In 1994, the Northridge earthquake, a magnitude 6.7 quake, struck the Los Angeles area, causing widespread damage and loss of life. The 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake, a magnitude 6.9 quake, devastated the San Francisco Bay Area, collapsing a section of the Bay Bridge and causing significant damage in San Francisco's Marina District. These past earthquakes serve as stark reminders of the destructive power of earthquakes and the importance of preparedness. Section 8. Predicting the unpredictable. The earthquake also sparked discussions about the possibility of earthquake prediction. While scientists have made significant strides in understanding earthquakes, accurately predicting the time, location, and magnitude of earthquakes remains elusive. Following the earthquake, a website called QuakePrediction.com claimed to have forecast the earthquake with over 90% accuracy 2 hours before it occurred. However, such claims should be treated with caution, as there is no scientifically proven method for predicting earthquakes. The unpredictability of earthquakes underscores the need for constant vigilance and preparedness. Building codes, early warning systems, and public education campaigns are crucial in mitigating the risks posed by earthquakes. Section 9. Preparing for the next big one. The April 14, 2025 earthquake in Southern California served as a wake-up call, reminding us that we live in earthquake country. While we cannot prevent earthquakes, we can take steps to prepare for them and minimize their impact. Creating a disaster preparedness kit, securing heavy objects in our homes, and practicing earthquake drills are essential steps in earthquake preparedness. Staying informed about earthquake safety tips and heeding the advice of public safety officials during and after an earthquake can also help keep us safe. The recent earthquake may have been a moderate one, but it serves as a stark reminder that the next big one could strike at any time. By taking steps to prepare ourselves, our families, and our communities, we can face the future with greater resilience and a shared commitment to safety. The world watched in horror as news broke of another Russian missile strike on Ukrainian soil. On April 18, 2025, the city of Kharkiv became the latest target in a conflict that has tragically escalated over the past 3 years. This wasn't just another attack in a war-torn region, it was a stark reminder of the human cost of this conflict. As the dust settled, the world grappled with the aftermath, the casualties, and the implications of this latest act of aggression. The attack on Kharkiv, a city steeped in history and culture, was a direct hit on civilian infrastructure. Apartment buildings, once homes to families, were reduced to rubble. An educational institution, a symbol of hope for the future, lay in ruins. Businesses, the lifeblood of the community, were destroyed. The attack left a trail of devastation, a grim testament to the ongoing conflict. This latest attack has sent shockwaves across the globe, raising questions about the future of Ukraine and the possibility of a negotiated peace. With tensions escalating between Russia and the West, the situation remains highly volatile. As the international community condemns the attack and calls for a ceasefire, the conflict in Ukraine continues to cast a long shadow over global peace and security. The morning of April 18th dawned like any other in Kharkiv, with residents going about their daily routines. However, that sense of normalcy was shattered within hours as a barrage of Russian missiles rained down upon the city. The attack left Kharkiv reeling, its streets scarred with the wounds of war. The initial reports painted a grim picture. 1 person confirmed dead and 82 injured, including 6 innocent children. The casualties were rushed to overwhelmed hospitals, their lives forever changed by the events of that day. The true extent of the damage is still being assessed, but the early estimates are staggering. The attack on Kharkiv was not just an attack on buildings and infrastructure, it was an attack on the very fabric of a community. It was a cruel reminder of the indiscriminate nature of war, where civilians often bear the brunt of the violence. As rescue workers searched through the rubble hoping to find survivors, the world watched in horror, wondering how much more suffering the people of Ukraine would have to endure. The true horror of the Kharkiv missile attack can be best understood through the eyes of those who lived through it. Survivors recounted harrowing tales of escape, their voices trembling with a mix of fear and disbelief. Their stories provide a chilling glimpse into the chaos and devastation that unfolded that day. One resident, a young woman named Anya, described the moment the first missile struck. "I was at home with my family preparing breakfast when we heard a deafening roar," she said, her voice shaking. "The ground shook beneath our feet and the windows shattered. We knew instantly that we were under attack." Another survivor, an elderly man named Petro, spoke of the terrifying aftermath. The air was thick with smoke and dust, he recalled, his eyes welling up. "I saw people running, screaming, covered in blood. It was like something out of a nightmare." These first-hand accounts serve as a stark reminder of the human cost of this conflict, the invisible scars left on the survivors who will forever carry the memory of that day. The devastation in Kharkiv was not solely due to the sheer number of missiles launched, but also the type of weaponry deployed. Reports indicate that Russia utilized ballistic missiles, known for their long range and devastating payload. Adding to the tragedy, these missiles were equipped with cluster munitions, a particularly cruel and indiscriminate weapon. Cluster munitions are designed to disperse dozens, even hundreds of smaller bomblets over a wide area. These bomblets often fail to detonate on impact, littering the area with unexploded ordnance. This creates a deadly legacy, turning civilian areas into minefields long after the initial attack. The use of cluster munitions is widely condemned by humanitarian organizations, as they pose an unacceptable risk to civilians. Their indiscriminate nature makes them particularly dangerous in populated areas, where they can cause widespread injury and death, even long after a conflict has ended. The deployment of such weapons in Kharkiv raises serious concerns about Russia's disregard for international law and the safety of non-combatants. Section 5. The Geopolitics of War, a World Divided. The missile strike on Kharkiv comes at a time of heightened global tension, with the conflict in Ukraine serving as a flashpoint in the escalating rivalry between Russia and the West. The United States, along with its NATO allies, has been a staunch supporter of Ukraine, providing military and humanitarian aid since the beginning of the conflict. However, this support has been met with increasing hostility from Moscow. Russia views NATO's eastward expansion as a direct threat to its security and has repeatedly accused the West of prolonging the conflict by arming Ukraine. The situation is further complicated by the involvement of other actors, such as China and North Korea, who have their own strategic interests in the region. The attack on Kharkiv has been widely condemned by the international community, with many seeing it as a deliberate escalation of the conflict by Russia. The United Nations Security Council held an emergency meeting to discuss the situation, but no concrete action has been taken due to the veto power held by Russia. As the war in Ukraine grinds on, the world watches nervously, hoping for a diplomatic solution but fearing the potential for a wider conflict. Section 6. America's stance, a frustrated peacemaker. The United States has been at the forefront of international efforts to broker a ceasefire in Ukraine, but these efforts have been met with limited success. The Biden administration has repeatedly called for Russia to cease hostilities and engage in meaningful negotiations, but Moscow has shown little interest in compromise. Senator Marco Rubio, a prominent voice on foreign policy, recently expressed the growing frustration within the White House over the lack of progress in resolving the conflict. He warned that the United States would abandon its peace push if there were no tangible results within a matter of days. The United States finds itself in a delicate position, torn between its commitment to supporting Ukraine and its desire to avoid a wider conflict with Russia. The attack on Kharkiv has only served to complicate matters, raising questions about the effectiveness of diplomacy and the potential for further escalation. Section 7. Russia's resolve, the unrealistic ceasefire. From the Kremlin's perspective, the calls for a ceasefire are seen as disingenuous and unrealistic. Russia maintains that it is not the aggressor in this conflict, but rather a force defending its own security interests. Moscow justifies its actions in Ukraine as a necessary response to what it perceives as NATO's encroachment on its borders and the West's support for a hostile Ukrainian government. Russia's UN ambassador, Vasily Nebenzia, recently dismissed the idea of a ceasefire as unrealistic under the current circumstances. He argued that any cessation of hostilities would only benefit Ukraine, allowing it to regroup and rearm with the support of its Western allies. Russia has shown no indication that it is willing to back down from its current course, despite the mounting international pressure and the devastating consequences of its actions. The attack on Kharkiv is a chilling reminder that the Kremlin is prepared to use all means at its disposal to achieve its objectives in Ukraine. Section 8. The Shadow of North Korea, a new front in the conflict. Adding another layer of complexity to the conflict is the emerging alliance between Russia and North Korea. Recent reports suggest that Pyongyang has been supplying Moscow with weapons and ammunition, providing a much-needed lifeline to the Russian military. This burgeoning partnership has raised concerns about the potential for North Korea to play a more active role in the conflict. There are even unconfirmed reports of North Korean troops fighting alongside Russian forces in Ukraine. While these claims remain unsubstantiated, the possibility of North Korean involvement adds a dangerous new dimension to the war. The growing ties between Russia and North Korea are a worrying development for the international community. It is a sign of how the conflict in Ukraine has the potential to destabilize the entire global security architecture. Section 9. Conclusion. A world on edge. The missile strike on Kharkiv is a stark reminder that the conflict in Ukraine is far from over. It is a tragedy for the people of Ukraine, who continue to bear the brunt of the violence, and a source of grave concern for the international community. The world watches with bated breath, hoping for a swift and peaceful resolution to this crisis. Yet with each passing day, the prospects of peace seem to diminish. The attack on Kharkiv is a stark reminder that the path to peace is fraught with obstacles and that the consequences of failure are too dire to contemplate. As the world grapples with the fallout from this latest tragedy, one thing is clear. The conflict in Ukraine is a defining moment for our time, a test of our collective will to uphold peace and security in the face of aggression and tyranny. The choices we make today will have far-reaching consequences for generations to come. The early hours of Sunday, April 13, 2025, will forever be etched in the memories of the Shapiro family. It was a night that began like any other, with the family gathered together, sharing stories and laughter. The Shapiros had always cherished their time together, especially during significant holidays like Passover. The warmth of their home was a stark contrast to the cold, dark night outside. It was a night that began with the warmth of Passover Seder. The table was beautifully set, adorned with candles and traditional foods. The Shapiros recited prayers, sang songs, and enjoyed each other's company. The children, excited and full of energy, asked questions about the significance of the holiday, and the parents lovingly explained the traditions and stories passed down through generations, and ended with the terror of flames engulfing their home. The peaceful evening took a drastic turn as the family was jolted awake by the smell of smoke and the sight of flames. Panic set in as they realized their home, their sanctuary, was under attack. The fire spread quickly, consuming everything in its path and leaving the family with only moments to escape. The Pennsylvania governor's residence, a symbol of statehood and stability, became a scene of chaos and fear. The historic building, which had stood as a beacon of leadership and governance, was now a blazing inferno. The sight of the governor's residence in flames sent shockwaves through the community, a stark reminder of the fragility of safety and security. Governor Josh Shapiro, his wife Lori, and their 4 children had just retired to bed. They had spent the evening surrounded by loved ones, sharing stories and creating memories. The children, tired from the day's excitement, were tucked into bed with kisses and reassurances of sweet dreams. The parents, feeling a sense of contentment, believed they were ending the day on a high note. They had enjoyed a peaceful evening, celebrating the Jewish holiday with family traditions. The Passover Seder had been a time of reflection and gratitude, a moment to connect with their heritage and each other. The Shapiros felt blessed to be together, to share in the rituals that had been part of their family for generations. Little did they know that a man driven by hate was lurking in the darkness, ready to unleash his fury. Cody Balmer, a man with a twisted ideology and a heart full of malice, had been watching the house, waiting for the right moment to strike. His mind was consumed with anger and prejudice, and he had meticulously planned his attack, intending to cause maximum harm and fear. At approximately 1 a.m., the tranquility was shattered. The sound of breaking glass pierced the night, a violent intrusion into the family's peaceful slumber. The noise was jarring, waking the Shapiros from their sleep and filling them with a sense of dread. They knew something was terribly wrong. The sound of breaking glass pierced the night, echoing through the halls of the governor's residence. It was a sound that would haunt the Shapiros for years to come, a reminder of the night their lives were forever changed. The children cried out in fear, and the parents rushed to their side, trying to protect them from the unfolding nightmare. Followed by the sickening smell of gasoline. The acrid scent filled the air, a prelude to the horror that was about to unfold. The Shapiros could hear the sound of liquid being poured, and their hearts raced with fear. They knew they had to act quickly to save themselves and their children, and the horrifying sight of fire. Flames began to spread rapidly, consuming everything in their path. The heat was intense and the smoke made it difficult to breathe. The family scrambled to find a way out, their minds racing with thoughts of survival. The fire was relentless and they knew they had only moments to escape. Cody Balmer, a 38-year-old man with a twisted ideology, had launched his attack. His actions were driven by hate and a desire to instill fear. The authorities acted swiftly and Balmer was apprehended and taken into custody. The Shapiros, though shaken and traumatized, were grateful to be alive. The night of terror had left an indelible mark on their lives, but they vowed to rebuild and stand strong against hate. Cody Balmer, the man now facing a slew of charges including attempted murder, terrorism, and aggravated arson, has become a symbol of the growing threat of domestic extremism. His actions have sent shockwaves through communities, leaving many to question how someone could be driven to such violence. Ballmer turned himself into authorities just hours after the attack, a move that some see as a calculated attempt to control the narrative. His surrender, however, did little to quell the fear and outrage that gripped the nation. The community remains on edge, grappling with the reality that such hatred can manifest so violently. His surrender did little to quell the fear and outrage that gripped the nation. People are left wondering how someone could harbor such intense animosity and act on it in such a destructive manner. The emotional toll on the community is palpable, with many expressing a mix of anger, sadness, and confusion. Ballmer, it seemed, was not content with simply vandalizing a building. He had attempted to inflict harm on a family, including young children. The aftermath of the attack is a stark reminder of the potential for devastation when hate is allowed to fester unchecked. The charred remains of the building stand as a testament to the destructive power of such ideologies. Ballmer's motives, as revealed in his rambling manifesto and online postings, were chillingly clear. He detailed his grievances and outlined his twisted rationale for the attack. His writings are a disturbing glimpse into the mind of someone consumed by hatred and conspiracy theories. They serve as a stark warning of the dangers posed by radicalization. He harbored a deep-seated hatred for Israel, and believed that the United States, and by extension Governor Shapiro, were complicit in the suffering of Palestinians. This belief fueled his rage and justified in his mind the need for violent action. His views are a reflection of a broader issue, where misinformation and extremist ideologies can lead to real-world violence. Ballmer saw the attack on the governor's residence as a justified act of retaliation, a way to strike a blow against what he perceived as a global conspiracy. His actions were not just an isolated incident but part of a larger pattern of extremist violence that has been on the rise. The attack has sparked a national conversation about the roots of such hatred and the steps needed to prevent future tragedies, a way to strike a blow against what he perceived as a global conspiracy. His meticulous planning and execution of the attack highlight the lengths to which he was willing to go to make his point. This incident serves as a grim reminder of the potential for violence when extremist beliefs are left unchecked. The community and indeed the nation must now grapple with the aftermath and work towards healing and preventing such acts in the future. Ballmer's weapon of choice: Molotov cocktails, crude but effective incendiary devices crafted from beer bottles filled with gasoline. He hurled these fiery projectiles at the residents, shattering windows and igniting a blaze that quickly spread through the historic structure. But Ballmer's plans went beyond mere arson. He had come armed with a hammer, intending to confront Governor Shapiro directly. He had envisioned a violent confrontation, a scene of personal retribution for the perceived injustices he believed he was avenging. Inside the residence, the Shapiro family was jolted awake by the commotion. State police, who maintain a constant presence at the governor's mansion, were already on high alert. They quickly assessed the situation and realized the gravity of the threat. The priority was clear: get the family to safety. In their pajamas, the Shapiros were rushed through a back stairwell, guided by the steady hands of their protectors. Every member of the family, including their two dogs, Bo and Bentley, was accounted for. They huddled together in the cold, misty driveway, watching in disbelief as flames consumed their home. Section 5. Scars of Destruction. The Harrisburg Fire Department responded swiftly to the scene, battling the blaze with courage and expertise. The fire, which had started in the early hours of the morning, quickly engulfed the historical residence, sending plumes of smoke into the sky. Neighbors watched in horror as the flames devoured the structure, fearing the worst for the priceless artifacts inside. Their efforts, hampered by the intensity of the fire and the historical significance of the building, were ultimately successful in containing the inferno. The firefighters worked tirelessly, rotating shifts to ensure that the blaze was kept under control. Despite the challenges, their determination never wavered, showcasing their dedication to preserving the community's heritage. But the damage was extensive. The once grand halls, adorned with intricate woodwork and vintage decor, were reduced to charred remnants. The smell of smoke lingered in the air, a haunting reminder of the night's events. Millions of dollars worth of artwork, antiques, and cherished family heirlooms were lost in the blaze, each piece a testament to the rich history and culture of the residents. now lay in ruins, their stories forever altered by the flames. Irreplaceable historical artifacts, some dating back centuries, were lost. These items, which had been meticulously preserved and passed down through generations, were now nothing more than ash and debris. The loss was not just material but deeply emotional for the community. The fire, contained by a closed door in the main dining room, had nevertheless ravaged a significant portion of the residence. The door, a simple barrier, had played a crucial role in preventing the fire from spreading further, highlighting the importance of fire safety measures in such situations. Harrisburg Fire Chief Brian Enterline, visibly shaken by the scene, later remarked that the closed door had likely prevented the fire from spreading to the living quarters, potentially saving the lives of the Shapiro family. His words underscored the gravity of the situation and the thin line between life and death in such emergencies. The community, though devastated by the loss, found solace in the fact that no lives were lost, thanks to the quick actions of the fire department and the simple yet effective measure of a closed door. In the aftermath of the attack, Governor Shapiro and his family found solace in the outpouring of support from across the state and the nation. Messages of sympathy and offers of assistance flooded in, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of tragedy. On April 17, just days after the attack, the Shapiro family hosted a catered lunch for the firefighters and first responders who had risked their lives to save their home. It was a small gesture of appreciation for their bravery and dedication, a moment of unity amidst the ashes. Governor Shapiro, in his first public address since the attack, appeared visibly shaken but resolute. He condemned the violence and hatred that had been visited upon his family and expressed his unwavering commitment to upholding the law and ensuring the safety of all Pennsylvanians. Shapiro, a rising star in the Democratic Party and a potential contender for the presidency in 2028, acknowledged the political undertones of the attack. He vowed that he would not be intimidated by extremism and that his administration would remain focused on the needs of all Pennsylvanians, regardless of their political beliefs. Cody Balmer remains in custody, denied bail due to the severity of the charges against him. His attorney, while acknowledging the seriousness of the allegations, has argued for leniency, citing Balmer's history of mental illness and his lack of prior criminal record. The legal proceedings are expected to be lengthy and complex, delving into Balmer's motives, his mental state, and the potential influence of online extremist content. The outcome of the case will likely have far-reaching implications, setting a precedent for how the justice system handles acts of politically motivated violence in an increasingly polarized society. The arson attack on the Pennsylvania governor's residence serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked hatred and the very real threat of political violence in modern America. It is a wake-up call, urging us to confront the forces of extremism and to protect the fundamental values of democracy and civility. As the nation grapples with this horrific act, one thing is clear: the flames of hatred will never extinguish the light of hope, resilience, and the pursuit of justice. In the intricate tapestry of international relations, the threads of diplomacy weave together nations with shared interests and divergent aspirations. Understanding the dynamics of these relationships is paramount in deciphering the complexities of our interconnected world. This essay delves into two distinct yet equally significant diplomatic narratives: the burgeoning partnership between China and Malaysia, and the escalating tensions that have recently come to define the Franco-Algerian relationship. By examining the intricacies of these interactions, we gain valuable insights into the forces shaping the global landscape. The relationship between China and Malaysia exemplifies the growing economic and political clout of the Asian giant on the world stage. Meanwhile, the escalating tensions between France and Algeria serve as a stark reminder of the enduring legacies of colonialism and the challenges of reconciliation. Together, these case studies offer a glimpse into the multifaceted nature of diplomacy in the 21st century, characterized by a delicate balance of cooperation, competition, and the constant negotiation of historical grievances. Through a careful analysis of these diplomatic engagements, we can begin to unravel the intricate web of factors that drive international relations. This essay will delve into the historical context, economic ties, and political considerations that underpin these relationships. Furthermore, it will explore the broader implications of these diplomatic dynamics on regional and global scales. Ultimately, by understanding the complexities of these interactions, we can gain a deeper appreciation for the delicate balance of power that shapes our world. China's meteoric rise as a global economic powerhouse has been accompanied by a concerted effort to strengthen its diplomatic ties and expand its influence across the globe. Southeast Asia, with its strategic location and burgeoning economies, has emerged as a key region of focus for China's foreign policy ambitions. Malaysia, in particular, has become a crucial partner for China, as evidenced by the increasingly close economic and political ties between the two nations. Recent years have witnessed a flurry of high-level diplomatic exchanges between China and Malaysia, underscoring the importance both countries attach to the relationship. Chinese President Xi Jinping's visit to Malaysia in April 2025 marked a significant milestone in bilateral relations, reaffirming the commitment of both nations to deepen cooperation across a wide range of sectors. During the visit, China and Malaysia inked a series of agreements covering trade, investment, infrastructure development, and defense cooperation, signaling a deepening of ties. These agreements reflect China's growing economic footprint in Malaysia. China has been Malaysia's largest trading partner for over a decade, and bilateral trade between the two countries continues to soar. Chinese investments in Malaysia have also surged in recent years, particularly in infrastructure projects under the ambit of China's ambitious Belt and Road Initiative. This initiative, which aims to connect China with countries across Asia, Europe, and Africa through a network of infrastructure projects, has been a cornerstone of China's foreign policy under Xi Jinping. Beyond economics, China and Malaysia have also stepped up cooperation in other areas, including defense and security. Joint military exercises and dialogues have become increasingly commonplace, reflecting a shared interest in maintaining regional stability. The two countries have also found common ground on a number of international issues, often echoing each other's positions in multilateral forums. This alignment of views reflects a growing convergence of interests between China and Malaysia on the global stage. The Belt and Road Initiative, unveiled by China in 2013, has emerged as one of the most ambitious infrastructure development projects in modern history. Envisioned as a vast network of roads, railways, ports, and pipelines spanning across continents, the BRI aims to connect China more closely with countries in Asia, Europe, and Africa. While proponents hail the initiative as a game-changer that will unlock economic potential and foster greater connectivity, critics have raised concerns about debt-trap diplomacy and the potential for China to exert undue influence over participating countries. Malaysia, strategically located along key maritime trade routes, has emerged as an early and enthusiastic participant in the BRI. The initiative has been warmly embraced by successive Malaysian governments who view it as an opportunity to attract much-needed foreign investment, upgrade the country's infrastructure, and boost economic growth. Several flagship BRI projects have been launched in Malaysia, including the East Coast Rail Link, a high-speed rail project linking the east coast of Peninsular Malaysia to the west coast, and the Bandar Malaysia Development, a massive real estate project in Kuala Lumpur. The East Coast Rail Link in particular is seen as a game-changer for Malaysia's east coast, which has long lagged behind the more developed west coast in terms of infrastructure and economic opportunities. The project is expected to significantly reduce travel time between the two coasts, enhance connectivity, and attract new investments to the region. However, the ECRL has also been the subject of controversy, with critics questioning its high cost, potential environmental impact, and the transparency of the bidding process. Despite these concerns, the BRI remains a cornerstone of China-Malaysia relations. The initiative has injected billions of dollars into the Malaysian economy and created numerous job opportunities. However, it is crucial for Malaysia to carefully manage its participation in the BRI to ensure that the benefits outweigh the risks. This includes negotiating favorable terms for loans, ensuring transparency and accountability in project implementation, and prioritizing projects that align with Malaysia's long-term development goals. In an era of shifting geopolitical sands, Malaysia faces the delicate task of navigating the complexities of great power politics. While China's economic and political influence continues to grow, Malaysia also maintains close ties with other major powers, including the United States, Japan, and the European Union. This balancing act is crucial for Malaysia to safeguard its national interests, maintain its strategic autonomy, and avoid becoming overly reliant on any single power. Malaysia's foreign policy has long been characterized by pragmatism and a commitment to multilateralism. The country has been a vocal advocate for ASEAN centrality, recognizing the importance of a strong and unified Southeast Asian voice on the global stage. Malaysia has also sought to maintain good relations with all countries regardless of their political systems or ideologies. This pragmatic approach is particularly evident in Malaysia's relations with the United States. Despite occasional differences over issues such as trade and human rights, Malaysia and the United States share a long history of cooperation in areas such as security, counterterrorism, and education. The United States remains a major investor in Malaysia, and the two countries conduct regular joint military exercises. Malaysia's balancing act also extends to its relations with Japan, a major trading partner and investor, and the European Union, a key market for Malaysian exports. By maintaining close ties with these countries, Malaysia seeks to diversify its economic partnerships and reduce its vulnerability to external shocks. This multi-pronged approach to diplomacy allows Malaysia to leverage its strategic location and economic potential to its advantage. The relationship between France and Algeria has been marked by periods of intense conflict and tension. Beginning with the French colonization of Algeria in 1830, the two nations have experienced a complex and often tumultuous history. The struggle for Algerian independence, which culminated in the Algerian War from 1954 to 1962, was a particularly brutal and defining period. During this time, both sides suffered significant casualties, and the scars of this conflict have left a lasting impact on their bilateral relations. In the years following independence, France and Algeria have made efforts to reconcile, yet the echoes of their past continue to influence their interactions today. Understanding this history is crucial to comprehending the current dynamics between these two nations. In recent times, several events have significantly impacted the Franco-Algerian relationship. These incidents have brought to light the deep-seated complexities and historical grievances that continue to influence their interactions. From diplomatic spats to economic disagreements, the relationship has been anything but stable. Yet, these challenges also present opportunities for dialogue and reconciliation, if approached with mutual respect and understanding. The relationship between France and Algeria is influenced by a myriad of factors, both internal and external. Domestically, political changes and public sentiment in both countries play a crucial role. Externally, international alliances and geopolitical strategies add layers of complexity. The colonial past, migration issues, and economic ties further weave a complex web that shapes their interactions. Navigating this intricate landscape requires careful diplomacy and a deep understanding of the underlying issues. The Franco-Algerian relationship does not exist in a vacuum. It has significant regional and international implications. In North Africa, Algeria's stance can influence the policies of neighboring countries. On a broader scale, the relationship affects France's position within the European Union and its relations with other global powers. The interplay between regional stability and international diplomacy underscores the importance of a balanced and thoughtful approach to Franco-Algerian relations. As France and Algeria navigate their turbulent relationship, charting a course forward requires a combination of historical awareness and forward-thinking strategies. Both nations must address past grievances while focusing on future cooperation. Economic partnerships, cultural exchanges, and diplomatic dialogues are essential tools in this journey. By acknowledging their shared history and working towards common goals, France and Algeria can build a more stable and mutually beneficial relationship. The tranquil landscape of upstate New York, known for its serene beauty and peaceful ambiance, was shattered on a somber Saturday afternoon, as the sound of emergency sirens pierced the air. A private plane, en route to a joyous family gathering, tragically crashed in a muddy field near Copac, a small town close to the Massachusetts border. The date was April 12, 2025, a day that would be forever etched in sorrow and remembered by many. The twin-engine aircraft, a Mitsubishi Mu-2B, had taken off from Westchester County Airport in White Plains earlier that day with clear skies and high hopes. Its intended destination was Columbia County Airport, a short distance from the crash site where family members eagerly awaited their arrival. But fate, it seemed, had other plans, as ominous clouds gathered and the weather took a sudden turn for the worse. All 6 souls aboard the ill-fated flight perished in the disaster, leaving behind grieving families and friends. The news of the crash sent shockwaves through the small community of Copac and beyond, as people struggled to come to terms with the tragedy. First responders rushed to the scene, but despite their swift efforts, their attempts to locate survivors proved futile. The debris fields scattered across the muddy terrain painted a grim and heart-wrenching picture of the disaster. As investigators began piecing together the events leading to the tragedy, one question loomed large. What went wrong? The search for answers had just begun. The plane crash near Copac was not just another aviation accident. It was a heart-wrenching story of a family's journey ending in unimaginable loss. On board the ill-fated flight were 6 individuals, all connected by the bonds of family and love, heading to a celebratory gathering in the Catskills. They were to join other family members for a birthday celebration and Passover Seder, a time for joy, reflection, and togetherness. Instead, their loved ones were left grappling with the agonizing news of their sudden and tragic passing. The victims, a mix of accomplished professionals and promising young individuals, were a testament to the power of family and the enduring strength of human connection. Their lives, filled with love, laughter, and the pursuit of dreams, were cut short in an instant, leaving behind an unfillable void in the hearts of those who knew and loved them. At the helm of the aircraft was Dr. Michael Groff, a renowned neuroscientist and associate professor at Harvard Medical School. His contributions to the field of neuroscience have been widely recognized, earning him numerous accolades and respect from his peers. Dr. Groff, also serving as the Executive Director of Neuroscience at Rochester Regional Health, was a brilliant mind in his field. His work has paved the way for new treatments and therapies, making a significant impact on countless lives. He was known not only for his groundbreaking research but also for his compassionate nature and dedication to his patients. His ability to connect with those he treated made him a beloved figure in the medical community. By his side was his beloved wife, Dr. Joy Saini, a highly respected urogynecologist and the founder of Boston Pelvic Health and Wellness. Her innovative approaches to women's health have set new standards in the field. Dr. Saini was a trailblazer in her own right, a dedicated physician committed to improving the lives of women. Her passion for her work and her patients was evident in every aspect of her practice. Their children, Karenna and Jared, both graduates of prestigious universities, were embarking on their own paths to success. They had inherited their parents' drive and determination, making their own marks in their respective fields. Karenna, an MIT graduate and celebrated athlete, had recently been named NCAA Woman of the Year. Her achievements in both academics and sports were a testament to her hard work and dedication. Jared, a Swarthmore College graduate, was working as a paralegal while preparing to pursue a law degree. His commitment to justice and his ambition to make a difference were clear in his career choice. Completing the passenger manifest were Karenna's boyfriend, James Santoro, an MIT graduate working in finance. His analytical skills and financial acumen had already earned him a reputation in the industry. And Jared's partner, Alexia Duarte, a recent Swarthmore graduate and aspiring lawyer. Her dedication to her studies and her passion for law were evident in her academic achievements and future aspirations. The flight from Westchester County Airport had been uneventful, a routine journey for Dr. Groff, an experienced pilot. The skies were clear as they took off, the promise of a joyous reunion fueling their spirits. As the plane approached Columbia County Airport, the weather began to deteriorate. A blanket of low clouds descended, reducing visibility and creating challenging conditions for landing. Dr. Groff, in contact with air traffic control, had radioed about rerouting after missing the initial approach due to the low ceiling. Air traffic controllers had issued a low-altitude warning, but no distress call was received from the aircraft. The investigation will delve into the communication between the pilot and air traffic control in those critical moments before the crash. Section 5. Searching for answers amidst the wreckage. The National Transportation Safety Board, the agency responsible for investigating civil aviation accidents, immediately dispatched a team of experts to the crash site. Their arrival marked the beginning of a thorough and systematic investigation. Their mission to meticulously reconstruct the events leading to the tragedy and determine the probable cause. This involves piecing together every fragment of evidence, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. The wreckage of the Mitsubishi Mu-2B, scattered across the muddy field, held crucial clues. Each piece of debris could potentially unlock a part of the mystery. Investigators painstakingly documented the scene, collecting debris, examining the plane's instruments, and searching for the aircraft's black boxes, the flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder. These efforts are vital in piecing together the aircraft's final moments. These devices, often crucial in determining the cause of aviation accidents, would hopefully provide valuable insights into the final moments of the flight. The data they contain can reveal critical information about the aircraft's performance and the crew's actions. The investigation, a complex and multifaceted process, is expected to take at least a year to complete. It involves numerous stages, from initial on-site examination to detailed analysis in specialized laboratories. The NTSB will examine various factors, including the pilot's experience and training, the aircraft's maintenance records, weather conditions, and air traffic control communications. Each of these elements could play a significant role in understanding what went wrong. Their findings, once complete, will be made public in a final report. This report will not only provide answers but also recommendations to prevent similar tragedies in the future. The news of the plane crash sent shockwaves through the communities touched by the victims' lives. Swarthmore College, where both Karenna and Jared had studied, was plunged into mourning. The college president, in a statement expressing profound sorrow, announced plans to honor the memory of their former students. The Weston School District, where Annika Groff, the surviving daughter of Michael and Joy, was a senior, requested privacy for their grieving student. Friends and colleagues of the victims struggled to come to terms with the sudden loss. John Santoro, James's father, expressed the family's devastation, remembering his son as a brilliant and kind young man. Social media was flooded with tributes, memories, and messages of condolence as people from all walks of life mourned the loss of 6 individuals who had touched their lives in countless ways. In the wake of the tragedy, the victims' lives, though tragically cut short, serve as a poignant reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring power of human connection. Dr. Michael Groff and Dr. Joy Saini, united in life and now in death, leave behind a legacy of love, compassion, and unwavering dedication to their families and professions. Karenna and Jared, siblings bound by love and shared dreams, will be remembered for their intelligence, kindness, and the bright futures that lay ahead. James Santoro and Alexia Duarte, their love stories intertwined with those they loved, will forever be missed for their warmth, humor, and unwavering support for their partners. Their absence leaves a void that can never be filled, but their memories will forever be cherished by those fortunate enough to have known them. As the NTSB investigation continues, the families and loved ones of those lost in the crash face a long and arduous journey ahead. The grieving process, often fraught with emotional turmoil and unanswered questions, will be a testament to their resilience and the unbreakable bonds of love that unite them. The search for answers, for a deeper understanding of the events leading to the crash, will likely be a driving force in their pursuit of closure and justice. The legal ramifications of the crash, including potential lawsuits and insurance claims, will also add complexity to their journey. Yet, amidst the sorrow and uncertainty, the families and friends of the victims will find solace in their shared grief, drawing strength from each other and honoring the memories of those they lost in their own special ways. The tragic plane crash near Kopak serves as a stark reminder of the inherent risks associated with aviation, despite the industry's impressive safety record. While accidents are statistically rare, each one represents a profound loss of life and a catalyst for reflection and improvement. The NTSB investigation, once complete, will undoubtedly yield valuable lessons that can be applied to enhance aviation safety protocols and prevent similar tragedies in the future. Whether it's improvements in pilot training, advancements in aircraft technology, or refinements in air traffic control procedures, every step taken to bolster aviation safety honors the memory of those lost in the Kopak crash and reaffirms the commitment to safeguarding lives in the skies. The pursuit of safer skies is an ongoing endeavor, a testament to the value placed on human life, and the unwavering belief that even in the face of tragedy, lessons can be learned and progress can be made. President Trump's trade war took a sharp turn this week, marking a significant shift in the administration's approach to international trade. After months of escalating tariffs, the administration announced a partial reversal, catching many by surprise. The news came as a surprise to many, especially those who had been bracing for further economic strain. The president had long insisted that tariffs were essential to protect American jobs and industries from unfair foreign competition. The new policy is a complex mix of pauses and adjustments, reflecting a more nuanced approach to trade. Most tariffs will be put on hold for 90 days, giving businesses a temporary reprieve. However, a universal 10% tariff remains on all imports, maintaining some level of protectionism. This tariff is a significant change from the previous free trade approach which had been in place for decades. The most notable exception is China, which faces the harshest penalties. Chinese goods face a hefty 125% tariff, a move aimed at curbing the trade deficit. This rate is a substantial increase from previous levels, signaling a tough stance on Chinese imports. The administration claims this is necessary to address unfair trade practices and to level the playing field. The tariff turnaround has created both confusion and relief among different sectors of the economy. Businesses are now left to navigate a shifting landscape, trying to adapt to the new rules and regulations. The long-term impact of this policy shift remains to be seen, as economists and analysts continue to assess its potential effects on the global market. The stock market reacted swiftly to the tariff news. Retail stocks in particular saw a surge. Companies like Walmart and Target benefited from the reduced tariffs. Consumers may now see lower prices on everyday goods. Crude oil prices also got a boost. Futures rose over 4% on the news. The easing of trade tensions signaled potential economic growth. This growth could lead to increased energy demand. However, not all sectors fared well. Pharmaceutical stocks tumbled after the announcement. The new tariffs on drug imports raised concerns about rising healthcare costs. This news sparked fear among investors and patients alike. The market's mixed reaction reflects the uncertainty surrounding the tariff reversal. While some sectors stand to gain, others face new challenges. Only time will tell what the lasting impact will be on the overall economy. China wasted no time in responding to the US tariff move. The Chinese government issued travel warnings to its citizens. Students and tourists were advised to reconsider travel to the United States. The Chinese Commerce Ministry also expressed its displeasure. It condemned the tariffs as harmful to both economies. China vowed to continue its countermeasures against American goods. These measures include tariffs on US imports. The ongoing trade war has strained relations between the two superpowers. The latest developments further complicate the situation. Both sides seem entrenched in their positions. Finding a resolution will require compromise and diplomacy. The stakes are high for both countries. A prolonged trade war could have global economic consequences. The world is watching closely to see how this trade dispute unfolds. The tariff turnaround sent ripples through the global community. US allies and rivals alike reacted to the news. The European Union approved retaliatory measures. Tariffs on US steel and aluminum were put in place. Canada and Mexico, partners in the USMCA trade agreement, also responded. Canada imposed tariffs on US vehicles and parts. Mexico expressed concern over the impact on its economy. Trade negotiations between the three countries are expected to continue. South Korea and Japan, key Asian allies, urged dialogue. They emphasized the importance of resolving the trade dispute peacefully. The tariffs have disrupted global supply chains and created uncertainty in the markets. The international community is watching the US with a mix of apprehension and frustration. Many fear that the tariffs could escalate into a full-blown trade war. The economic and political consequences of such a scenario would be significant. Section 5. A divided America responds. The tariff reversal exposed the deep divisions in American politics, highlighting the stark contrast between different ideological factions. President Trump's supporters praised the move as a tough stance against unfair trade practices, seeing it as a necessary step to protect American interests. They argued that the tariffs were necessary to protect American jobs and businesses, emphasizing the importance of supporting domestic industries. However, the president's critics were quick to condemn the policy shift, arguing that it would have detrimental effects on the economy. They argued that the tariffs would harm American consumers and businesses, leading to higher prices and reduced availability of goods. They also questioned the timing of the announcement just months before a presidential election, suggesting it was a strategic move to gain political advantage. Opposition leaders, including Democratic presidential candidates, slammed the administration's handling of the trade war, calling it reckless and poorly planned. They called for a more strategic and less disruptive approach, advocating for policies that would foster long-term economic stability. Public opinion polls showed that a majority of Americans disapproved of the tariffs, reflecting widespread concern about their impact on everyday life. The tariff debate reflects the broader ideological divide in the United States, underscoring the challenges of finding consensus in a polarized society. It highlights the challenges of governing in a polarized political environment, where compromise is often difficult to achieve. Finding common ground on trade policy will require both sides to make concessions, fostering a spirit of cooperation and mutual understanding. Section 6. Businesses. Brace for impact. The tariff turnaround left many businesses scrambling to adjust. Companies had to quickly reassess their strategies and find ways to mitigate the impact. This sudden shift created a ripple effect across various industries, leading to a flurry of activity as businesses tried to adapt. Companies that rely on imports faced higher costs and uncertain supply chains. The increased tariffs meant that many businesses had to pay more for the same goods, squeezing their profit margins and forcing them to make tough decisions. Some retailers warned of potential price increases for consumers. As costs rose, these businesses had no choice but to pass on some of the burden to their customers, leading to higher prices on everyday items. Walmart, the nation's largest retailer, withdrew its quarterly income forecast. The company cited the uncertainty surrounding the tariffs as the reason, highlighting the widespread concern among major corporations. The company cited the uncertainty surrounding the tariffs as the reason. This move by Walmart sent shockwaves through the retail industry, as other companies began to reassess their own financial projections. Other businesses, including Delta Airlines, expressed concern about the potential impact on their operations. The airline industry, which relies heavily on international trade, faced its own set of challenges due to the tariffs. Some businesses benefited from the tariffs. Domestic steel and aluminum producers, for example, saw increased demand for their products as imported goods became more expensive. Domestic steel and aluminum producers saw increased demand for their products. This boost in demand provided a much-needed lifeline for these industries, which had been struggling in recent years. However, these gains were offset by job losses in other sectors, such as manufacturing. The increased costs of raw materials and components led to layoffs and factory closures, creating a mixed bag of outcomes. The tariffs have created winners and losers in the business world. While some sectors thrived, others struggled to stay afloat, leading to a complex and uneven economic landscape. The long-term impact on the United States economy remains to be seen. Economists are closely monitoring the situation, but the full effects of the tariffs may not be clear for some time. However, one thing is certain: the tariffs have injected a significant amount of uncertainty into the business environment. Companies are now navigating uncharted waters, trying to find stability in a rapidly changing economic landscape. Section 7. Economic uncertainty looms. The tariff turnaround has added to the growing sense of economic unease. Experts warned that the tariffs could slow economic growth and lead to higher prices for consumers. Some even feared a recession. JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon expressed concern about the impact of the trade war on the global economy. He warned that the tariffs could trigger a recession. Former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers echoed these concerns, calling the tariffs the most reckless economic policy in 40 years. The tariffs come at a time when the global economy is already facing headwinds. Slowing growth in China and Europe, coupled with geopolitical uncertainty, has created a fragile economic environment. The tariffs have exacerbated these challenges, raising the specter of a global economic slowdown. Section 8. The road ahead. The Trump administration's tariff turnaround has created more questions than answers. The short-term impact on the economy is still uncertain. The long-term consequences are even more difficult to predict. The administration has defended the tariffs as necessary to protect American jobs and businesses. However, critics argue that the tariffs will ultimately harm the economy by raising prices for consumers and businesses. The trade war with China shows no signs of abating. The tariffs have strained relations between the two superpowers. Finding a resolution will require both sides to make concessions. The road ahead is fraught with uncertainty. The global economy is on edge. The outcome of the trade war will have profound implications for the United States and the world. Section 9, a tariff timeline. In March 2018, Trump announces tariffs on steel and aluminum imports. By July, the United States and China imposed tariffs on billions of dollars worth of each other's goods. In May 2019, trade talks between the United States and China break down. Then in August, Trump announces additional tariffs on Chinese goods. January 2020 sees the United States and China signing the Phase 1 trade deal. By December, Trump imposes tariffs on European Union goods. Fast forward to April 2025, the Trump administration announces a tariff reversal with a universal 10% tariff on all imports and a 125% tariff on Chinese goods. China retaliates with tariffs on United States goods. The tariff timeline highlights the escalating nature of the trade war. It also underscores the challenges of resolving the dispute.